letting him in?
I did once. Last time we spoke, you took a man away from me I loved dearly. From that day, I swore to take matters into my own hands. But now I don't know what to do.
I know that you don't believe, but I will pray for you.
I love you so much.
Capimo.
It's a miracle. You believe in miracles?
Listen, if you need me, you call me.
All of the angels in heaven are rejoicing. You gotta know that everything is gonna be okay.
Kim Ikemia Arrington is a career empowerment speaker, business strategist to career professionals, and employed entrepreneurs who are building their businesses while working demanding full-time job as well as a visionary event producer. She is on a mission to help the massive take career control by positioning them to transition into careers, businesses, and life they love on their terms. Kim certainly affirms that you can love your Mondays by doing only the work you desire and enjoy. Who says you can't love your Mondays? Kim affirms that you most certainly can.
Hey, this is Nolan Holloway, aka Mr. Scribe. Just letting you know that I have 3 books of poetry that's available on Amazon.com. So when you get a chance, go to Amazon.com, look up Nolan P. Holloway Jr., not Mr. Scribe, and pick up one of my books for your enjoyment. Peace.
What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you get home. Hey, baby, when you come home, darling, I'm every woman. It's all in me. I can read your thoughts right now. Everyone from A to Z.
Unveiled Treasures Bookstore. We offer a variety of items: church supplies, homeschool resources, music, books, and gifts. Our free ministry partners online affiliate program provides a collection of Christian resources. Unveiled Treasures. Exquisite jewels to enrich your soul.
Hey, this is Gina A. Townsend. I hope you enjoyed Joyeux Noel. It means Merry Christmas, and I wish that for all of you here on The Real Level Up with your host, Angee from the B.
This is Alison Feliciano. Listen or watch Level Up each and every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. Keep it locked right here.
Hey guys, vibe with Mr. Scribe on Level Up on Mix106Radio.com.
Mix 106 Radio. You are now in.
And welcome back to Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, Mix 106 Radio listeners, if you guys want to watch this show in its entirety, you guys can head on over to The Real Level Up. That's The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. All right, let's get right back into our conversation with Alison Feliciano, back by popular demand. Alison, girl, you were really laying some stuff on us before we went to break.
All right, so you told me to keep that thought, and I was the whole commercial. I'm like, keep the thought. Okay, so because I'm a person of a certain age, so I gotta focus. Okay, so as I was saying, is that after all that loss, and then I lost a marriage again. All things work together for your good, my friend. And so that particular marriage, if I'm really honest with myself, God did not tell me to get married. That was an Alison decision.
Okay, Alison, tell the
really
truth,
honest.
shame the devil. Tell the truth, shame the devil.
I'm really honest. And so, but I have two beautiful children from that union, and they wouldn't be here, right? So that's why it says God will turn it for your good, right? So, okay. So, but I could be like, oh my goodness, I lost my marriage. And then I was blessed to, find love again. And we built, great businesses together. And then at the fall of the market, we lost all of that. Okay. Moved to Florida to start all over again in a 1,000 square foot apartment, and slowly building it back up, and then moved to Atlanta 10 years ago. And there ebbs and flows of that, right? So now just still follow the train of thought. If I was a certain mindset, I'd be like, just feel bad for me, because then we came to Atlanta and that first year was horrible, and we had to move again, and then we were homeless, and boom, boom. And then he died suddenly in 2015. Almost lost everything again. Okay? And then, but I still ran for mayor, even when he died, and then I lost that election. And then, and then I never thought I would even marry again. But I firmly believe that God and Marcus had a conversation. They walked face of the earth. And Marcus was like, God, she needs this kind of person. He was like, all right, Marcus, come on, let's go. And so they walked, and then they found Shane. And I'm blessed. Right. And we've even in our, time together, life has hit us too. But if I was of a certain mindset, I'd be like, Angee, feel bad for me. Because, just as I'm working and this is happening. And,
yeah.
But, God had to show me, and I'm telling you, in the last 2 years, God had to show me, that I was holding on to loss. You see, yes, it's part of my testimony, but you get to keep what you speak.
Okay.
Okay. And what you focus on grows, right? So your thoughts become your words, and your words become your actions, and your actions lead to the results that you are getting. And so, although I was pushing forward and doing great things, but right back here somewhere, I was holding on, which was really Alison getting in her own way.
Wow.
And so and because I love to cook, I'm going to use, an onion first, and then I'm going to use the process in which a chicken or a chick hatches out of an egg. Because God had to show me that there were layers, and in order for that onion to really be used, you have to peel, right? You have to peel off the outer so that the onion is then available to be used to make that wonderful recipe, right? And so, and even, in those different times of life hitting me and us as a family, I lost some friends along the way. I lost, and then I remember, going into a very dark space when my late husband passed away. And I had a friend tell me, I just want the old Alison back. And I was like, well, she don't live here anymore. And so, but I had to be ready. You see, when a chick, like why they tell you to not help a chick come out the egg and let it hatch on its own, because there is a process that is happening that chick is also getting the strength as it's moving around. See, so if you try to help the chick come out, you can end up killing the chick.
Good point.
And so I had to, in my process of, so that is why through all of the ebbs and flow of life, be it financial loss, be it personal loss, all of those things, you can still end up with a winning mindset. And so I will tell you that while I certainly empathize because I've been there, and this year, 2020, has been rough on our country and our world. A lot of people. And there's a lot of people that have had personal losses of loved ones and friends. And, you know, Shane and I have had a couple of friends pass away young people.
Yes.
Young meaning in their 30s and 40s. That's young. Okay. And the fact is, and then, you know, as business people, we've had to pivot.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And many people, small business owners especially, have had to pivot and figure out. And the biggest thing that I will tell you, aside, of course, first and foremost of having a spiritual foundation, is then having that personal development of a winning mindset.
Right.
Right. And so that's why in our home, we don't have cable. And it's not for the inability to afford it. We have internet and we have YouTube and whatever things, that Netflix, if I want to watch a movie, because of the fact is, one, as we have seen what comes out of that television, okay? And so, but people can become fixated, almost brainwashed.
Yes.
To the point where it's detrimental. You know, it's detrimental because it plays not only on your psyche, it plays on your emotions. And here it is, you may have a certain mindset, but if you continuously are exposed to the negativity, that will have an effect on you. So I really appreciate the fact that you continued to mention, as you were sharing your testimony, the mindset. And that's so vitally important. And let me ask you, Alison, during that time frame, did you see how your relationship with Christ had matured? Because in the beginning, I was listening now. In the beginning, you were saying, "Oh, well, you know, I'm going to take on the world. I'm every woman." And it was I, me, mine, I. But as the losses began to take place in your own personal life, did you notice how your perspective began to change with regards to certain things? Because when, like you were saying, your parents and your grandparents, that which was near and dear and close to your heart, you began to kind of balance those scales and say, wait a minute, let me reevaluate. Were you able to see that in regards to your progression in your relationship with Christ?
Oh, absolutely. See, because I was raised in church. Okay. Raised in church, praise and worship leader in the choir. Okay, let's go. Sunday school superintendent, children's church leader, women's ministry. I was churched. No, don't get me wrong. I had a relationship with Christ, meaning I love the Lord. I know how to worship, know how to pray. But I remember when I turned 40. And so now this is after the big financial loss and of course all of those losses. Okay. So when I moved to Georgia, I began to say, you know what, being church, because I had listened to thousands of sermons my whole life. You know, you could start a verse, I could finish it, right? Because I had listened. However, I still felt like a flunky in Christ. Because having been churched, and I could hallelujah, and I knew how to get in the presence of God, don't get me wrong. But really, I decided one day, no, Lord, I have to get to a place where not only that I know you, but you know me. And I really began, of how I began to study God's word, it was different. How I began to look at his promises were different. And then I began to look and learn, because you see, it's funny because I went to a Christian college. Now I have a degree in business, but I went to a Christian college and we had to take a Bible course every semester, like we had to. So back then, I went, and to me, it was a course, and I just did, and I passed the class, and I just keep moving. But it wasn't until late when I moved to Georgia, my church started to offer Bible classes, not just a Bible study, Bible classes, and I would sign up. And I said, my friends from college would laugh because I'd get there early, be on the front row, have my notes, because I was at a different place where I wanted to really dive in. And that's when my prayer, how I prayed, even changed.
You're right.
And so because the Bible says in Isaiah, it says, keep God in remembrance of his promises. Keep not silent and give him no rest until it comes to pass. And so that's why I say in anything that you are going through in your life, and let me show you how God, that this was proven in my life. When we became homeless in 2012, beginning of 2012, okay. Now, my late husband was front lines of the Gulf War in the Army, so was dealing with some PTSD issues and all of that comes with that. So it was a very challenging time. And we were moving out of one house, and we thought, you see, because Alison wanted to stay in this part of town so that my daughter could stay in that school and all that. And Alison was running this. But every house that we were looking at, either the contract, like someone would get to it before us or whatever. So it came the day that we had to be out of that house. So we put our stuff in storage. We had a couple of days of budget to go to a hotel. I thought it would just be the weekend because we had all this stuff going on with these houses. No. So day 1, day 2, day 3, we were starting to have to make a decision now. And so I said, okay, well, I knew that I could get my daughter situated. And Marcus and I had just resigned and said, you know what, we got to put on our big boy and big girl pants on and sleep in the car. Now, I had been scheduled to speak at a church the following Saturday. So, and the one thing I could tell you is that I had allocated money for everything. So I knew that I had to speak. So a month and a half prior, I had put aside money to get my hair done. I had put aside money for the hotel. I had put aside. So I called my hairstylist. I said, I have to speak. Are you available Thursday or Friday? She said, I'm going out of town Wednesday. Come on Tuesday. Tuesday was the day that we had to leave the hotel. So after I dropped off my daughter at school, we left the hotel. We go, I'm sitting under the dryer. Marcus is outside looking online, just really working to see what we could do. Okay. Friend number 1 calls me and say, hey, what's going on? I told him what was going on. I told him we checked out of the hotel. He said, do you know Choice Hotels? I said, yes. He said, I have a client who's a manager. I'm going to get you a friends and family discount. I was like, I'm thinking, great. I still don't have the money for it. Friend number 2 calls. Hey, I'm checking on you guys. What's going on? And I told him what was happening. He said, all right, I have to go into a meeting. Give me about 45 minutes. I said, okay. I'm still sitting under the dryer. And all that time, I was just praying. 7 minutes later, friend number 1 had texted me the link. Friend number 2 said, check back in. We're going to cover you for 5 days.
Praise God.
Okay. So my daughter's at school now. She has no idea this is going on. So I get my hair done. We go back and we check back into the hotel, just a different room. Okay. Now we had been dealing with the VA, and I had gotten my congressman to help me with a congressional inquiry. We're still now Wednesday. I get a call. On Wednesday I go to church. No one knows but 2 people that we are homeless. And I just worshiped. I just worshiped. Thursday, I get a call from that congressman's office. Says, Alison, can you come? I have some paperwork for you. Okay, I go. What most veterans have to wait 18 months to hear no, in less than 3 months, they deemed him 70% disabled. So they owed him money. Then we go to the VA. So he calls that day. They said about 15 days, the money will come to you. We go to the VA on Friday. to give them some other paperwork. They said, not 15 days. It'll be there Tuesday. Okay. We finally got a call on a house. We go see it. Everything, they took off money. I mean, everything was great. I said, okay, I'll come see you Tuesday. Saturday morning is the day I have to go speak. And I feel Marcus hitting my foot. I thought he was just waking me up. Now, the whole week, I have been keeping God in remembrance of his promises, right? That never shall he fail me, right? That he will provide for all of my needs, okay? And he tapped me. I look up and he's pointing to the screen and I could recognize our bank, like the online banking logo. And when I got my eyes together, all that money that they owed him was in our bank account on that Saturday morning.
Oh, man, Alison, let me just piggyback on what Robin had raised. As far as, when she was saying that when you were young, and most of us were like that. I'm every woman, I can handle it. But as life kept going, literally, as you're giving us your full testimony, Alison, you're not leaving out any details, and I appreciate that because it's helping out someone else who is going through the same or something similar. And that's really the reason why we have people that will come on. And thank you, Alison, for sharing your testimony, because it opens the eyes of others that you're not alone. Mm-hmm. And you're giving people the step-by-step. For some people, it's instruction for some people because they're right there, Alison. They're right in the middle of what you are talking about right now. And if you are listening or even watching what Alison is trying to say, really our relationship with God is not about, I heard you say this, kept saying, I'm churched. It's not even about you being churched. Correct. It is your relationship with God, my brothers and sisters out there. Your relationship. And that's why we cannot say how somebody is going to come out of something, because it is about their journey and allow them to go through that journey. And most of the time, we just need to sit and listen to what they are saying. Most people just need a listening ear and your prayer, not something that you're going to sit there and tell them what to do or how to do it. A lot of times we just need to be quiet, let them speak. Because Alison, a lot of times when I'm sitting with my friends and they're going through, when they're speaking, they can hear their answers as they're giving their testimony. Yep. And that's what is amazing to me, because what that is that sometimes we just need to hear ourselves speaking audibly, and God has already have the answers right there. We just need to come to that realization of what he wants us to do. And it happens when we have our relationship with him. It's not about going to church. It's about having that individual relationship with him. And Alison, that is what you're presenting to us.
Well, and we can't keep all the rules that we were raised with anyway, right? Because when I was growing up, if you wore pants to church, you were going to hell. If you wore open-toe shoes, you're going to hell. If you looked at this kind of movie, and it could have just been what's called PG-13 today, you were going to hell for sure. If you were dancing, listening to secular music, there are pits of hell for you. So we can't keep those rules anyway. But but it's about that relationship. It's about and I had to learn that was real. Although I do love being a part of a church family, don't get me wrong. Shout out to Oasis Family Life in Dallas, Georgia. But it's that God just wants to hear from us, And I will tell you this, my friends, just like he says, you move towards me, I'll move towards you, says the Almighty, And when I saw that, and let me tell you, when I saw that money in the bank, well, first of all, that Wednesday night, I would tell you, I was driving home. I went in the bathroom. The whole time the enemy was telling me, look at you. You help all these people and you can't even help yourself. And da-da-da. And so then the old Pentecostal came out, and Alison, I've been right in that bathroom, and I was rebuking, bonding up. And my husband and my daughter at that time, I came out the bathroom. They were like, "Okay."
Okay.
But I had to realize that you got to walk in what God says you are. He gave us dominion.
Yes.
And so when you walk in who you are, and you understand that He is your Father.
Yes.
And so that's why I said the mindset. So in everything that I've gone through, I could say, woe is me, but no, because I do believe that all things do work together for my good.
Hang on to that, Alison, because we got to take a break. All right. When we come back from break, you guys, listen, we are really sharing some really great nuggets with Alison Feliciano. You don't want to miss any of it. So if you guys want to share this with your family and friends, head on over to The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. You're listening and watching Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the Bee. We'll be right back.
I am protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time now. You can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time. No, you can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, spinning round like a carousel. Never sick, still looking well. He helped me win on the battlefield. I tell the truth like a tattletale. And I'm out of jail like I'm out on bail. And I don't feel like I don't tell the whole truth. Without Christ, it's like a ship without a sail. Look, back in the day, lagging away, I just happened to pray. After the day, He just happened to say He loves me. Defeated my enemies like an animal. Attacking to pray, they say He evil. Jesus, He just wanna save people. Ain't no way we gonna stay equal. Grab your wings and soar with the eagles. Protected by the shield and by the sword. Every blessing that you got comes by the Lord. He got keys to the gates and keys to death and hell and the grave. He'll set you free like you was a slave. You'll run real fast like you was the I am protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time now. You can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time. No, you can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected in this bubble like bubble wrap. He's knocking on the door of your heart like double tap. Praise Him twice, double clap. He just set up a double trap. The enemy fell in and God chopped him with his double axe. Facts, all of the chains He is breaking it. Satan's kingdom He is shaking it. All this evil I am forsaking it. The kingdom of heaven I'm making it. Made in Satan, hating blessings. You know I'm gon' rake in. Ain't going nowhere, they all staying. If you wonder where I'm at, I'm gon' face in. It's water. Oh yes, no stress, and He will bless you. Holiness, holiness, I roll with the Lord, ain't no loneliness. Only this power of God I am holding it. Taking my freedom back, I am not lonely yet. I am protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time now. You can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected. You can't touch me. I'm resurrected. You can't crush me. I'm taking my time. No, you can't rush me. I'm in this bubble. You can't bust me. Oh, I'm protected.
More than 12 million Africans were enslaved and trafficked. More than 2 million of our ancestors died at sea.
The ocean holds stories that haven't been told.
This is ground zero for the whole transatlantic slave trade.
The story of the slave trade is world history.
It's not something unique to America. It was a worldwide phenomenon.
It's been long enough that you've been walking around in the wilderness trying to figure out, who am I? Why am I here? What gifts do I have to make a difference? Well, it's time to warm it up. Discover your true identity. Unleash your gifts and impact the world to become a more bolder, braver, and courageous you. Join me, Kathy Hood, at a life-changing workshop, Woman Up, the journey of owning your power and unleashing your true self.
Hello, my name is Rodney Damon Collins. I'm an actor, producer, author, and speaker. I'm excited to share my first book entitled Shattered: A Journey Through the Pieces. I wrote this book because there are millions of people like me in this world who are searching for purpose while navigating emotional distress. This book is for anyone who wants to be the producer of their own life. The reader will be encouraged to know that if they, 1, keep God first, 2, learn how to make peace with the pieces in our lives, and finally 3, never deterred from your dreams, that you will see your purpose fulfilled. I love you, and go grab this book on Amazon.com, Shattered: A Journey Through the Pieces. Hey, this is Rodney Damon Collins, inviting you to level up. Check them out every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Mix106Radio.com.
Hey, this is Shay Bynes with Kingdom Driven Entrepreneur. Let's level up. Tune in every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. here on Mix106Radio.com.
It's your girl, Chantel Charisma. Let's level up on Sundays from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. with Mix106Radio.com. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
Soy Udanis y te invito a escuchar cada domingo de 3 a 6 de la tarde Level Up, sube el nivel. Gente corriente con historias extraordinarias. No te lo pierdas.
Mix 106 Radio. You are now in the mix.
And welcome back to Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, Mix 106 Radio listeners, if you guys want to watch this show in its entirety, you guys can head on over to The Real Level Up. That's The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. All right, let's get back right into our conversation with Alison Feliciano. Now, before I do that, because we got a few more minutes with Alison, we've got a couple of people that are on our Facebook that I want to go ahead and give some shout outs. Mr. Scribe, you got some on your side as well?
Yes, I have a few people that unmuted. I have a few people: Diana Belcher, Joanne Key, Debbie Reese, Albert Menard is also on, Catherine Joy Griffin, Julie Strickland, Mohammed Coneth. So there's quite a number of people that are on listening to Alison's testimony and her story.
Absolutely. On my side, I have Jacqueline Willis. Hey, girl, hadn't seen you in a long time. Thank you for joining us. Also, Albert Maynard. I think I'm saying that right. If I am, don't slap me. I think somebody might recognize this name. There is a Shane Harmon. I wonder who that is.
I don't know. Some guy.
Some guy that's watching the show.
Angee,
some blessed man.
Yeah. Before we get back to Alison, I just wanted to chime in as well, because you have made mention, Angee, in reference to I'm every woman all powerful. The men as well. Remember, guys, Sometimes we're put in a position we're supposed to be the provider, the strength and things like that. But mentally, we can be in some dark places as well as some of the ladies. And we see how Alison trusted and believed in the promises that God has made. We as men can do the same thing. That's not a sign of weakness. That's not a sign of shortcoming. It's acknowledging that God put me in a place that you would have me to be. And what she said, excellent point, that one-on-one relationship with our Heavenly Father. If you don't hear anything else today, for the brothers that's out there, you gotta have that relationship. It's not a weakness. It's not that you're submitting yourself. It's adding power to yourself. It's walking in power as a man and being able to go into your purpose and flow into your role. I just needed to say that on behalf of the brothers and men that are out there.
Amen. Amen.
Go ahead, Alison.
Yeah. Now, Alison, I wanted to jump in and ask you a question. Now, this whole journey you've gone on with the losses and the maturity in Christ, how did that equate to the strength that you needed with regards to business? Because you're CEO, you was running the company. So in reference to the whole keeping it together, the emotional component of it, not allowing my personal life to overflow in my business life. Can you share that with us with regards to, some aspiring entrepreneurs or those who are building their business and things are not working in the way in which they planned? And, after actually hearing your personal testimony, how does that tie into business from a business perspective?
And I will tell you that it is not that it didn't affect my business life. I will tell you, I made a lot of mistakes. And I want to encourage you all that if you've made mistakes, if you dropped the ball, if you stop beating yourself up, because you can you can hold yourself back by beating yourself up. And I had to learn that too. So there was plenty of times where I wasn't as productive as I should have been, as I wasn't moving forward. And I had to a point where I had to own all that. Sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself. Is that, what for things to change, I had to change. So I had to ask myself, what's one thing that I could change that could change everything? So for things to change, you have to change. So what's one thing that you could change today that could change everything? And I also made a decision that I had let all that stuff linger too long. And it wasn't paying rent, so it had to go. Because I knew that I had a lot of life to live.
Right.
And I had to begin to walk in the purpose that God had for me. Because everyone, and you that I'm speaking to that might feel like it's too late for me, I've made too many mistakes, I've gone to, no, everything that God has created, everyone, there was a gift put inside of you that only you could bring to this world. Only you can bring to your generation. And so when it came to business, I had to, also on my desk back in the day, I used to keep two books. One was my Bible. The other one was this book by the late Mary Kay Ash on people management. Because if any of you have dealt with large teams of people, even though they're grown people, it's like adult daycare. Okay?
Yes.
Because I'd rather have a whole office full of children because I know what I'm dealing with. But adult daycare. So I had to learn those people handling skills. I had to learn in business, and one of our mentors taught us this, is that you cannot be sensitive and successful at the same time.
Say it again, Alison.
One more time.
Say it again.
And stop stepping on my toes, Alison.
Sensitive and successful at the same time.
Wow.
And so I had to learn that the mentors that God put in my life to speak to me, they were not here to be my friends. and they weren't here to like me either. But if I wanted to, attain the level of success that they had, then I had to listen, shut this, take copious notes. And so sometimes you have to pivot. And so with learning people handling skills, because there's so many ways that people explain personality types. The one way that I was able to understand was, the 4 types of people. So there are whales that they like to help people. Okay. There are the urchins that need to know everything. They want to know, like they read the manual on everything that they buy. They read all the fine print. What's in this water? How could it be? They just, okay. There are the dolphins. They just want to have fun. And there are sharks. They show me the money. And so when you learn the different personality types and you learn people handling skills, it will help you to navigate in business. And even when you have to confront an issue with somebody, I've always learned that you have to, put that ounce of criticism in a sandwich of praise so that you don't leave my conversation with me broken. But we're going to address what has to be addressed. And so I have learned in the ebbs and flows of the entrepreneur life, it is not for everyone. And that's okay. Okay. But I do believe now in 2020, going into 2021, more people ought to look at it. Okay. Especially with the technology. And I sadly don't believe that this pandemic is near being over. And so from prior to the pandemic, but even more so now, we are going further toward, or we're leaving from brick and mortar to click and order.
Oh, good point.
And so you've got to be in position.
Right.
And so
that's excellent.
Yeah, great point. Go ahead, Alison.
And so, I take my spiritual life into anything that I do, be it business, be it even volunteering, in everything that I'm involved in. But I also use the business acumen that God has given me. And so I want to encourage people, and you might be at a corporate job that you really do hate. Listen, there was a study done, and it was back in 2017, I believe. Over 80% of people said they hated their jobs. Hated. Not uncomfortable, dislike. No, hated. That's a strong word.
That is a strong word. Yes.
But if we're honest with ourselves, because we get comfortable with a certain, maybe the benefits that you have or the salary. And so there was, and I forget the name of the movie, but there was a line. And so George Clooney asked the other actor, I forget his name. He said, how much did so-and-so corporation pay you to give up on your dreams?
Wow. Good.
So how much have you been paid to give up on your dreams? And that's what I love about what Shane and I do, is that as a result of what we do, we help people find and fund their passion and purpose.
Right.
How do you go about that? Because we often hear these buzzwords, passion and find your purpose and, go after your dreams. How, if I was to come to you as a client, Alison, what would be the steps that you would take me through to say, okay, well, Robin, this is the direction I sense that you need to go in based on information that you share with me. Do you do like an assessment or anything like that? Or, because like you're saying, everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. So how do you identify that as a leader?
Well, we would have a conversation, really. Of course, once I get to know what you do, right, and how long you've been doing it. But I'm also going to want to get a sense of what you love to do. Do you love to cook? Do you love to travel? Do you love, I don't know, knitting?
I love to eat.
Whatever it is.
I love to eat, Alison. I love to eat.
That's what Shane says.
Yes, she does.
Yeah,
Yes, she does.
To eat.
You can't find anything that's going to sustain you for eating, okay?
But we can create a position for you, Rob. But then, okay, so if learning from someone what freedom looks like to them, if they had total control of their life, if, bills were not even an issue, what would freedom look like for you? And listening to that. And then, so let's say if someone, they just really love to paint, or whatever, they're an artist and they would just love to backpack across Europe when we're able to and draw the landscapes of Europe. Okay, so then what is it going to take to sustain your life or that lifestyle for you? What could you do? Because you know what? Not every business has to be full-time to pay you full-time income. Right?
You better say that again, Alison. You better say that.
Not every business has to be full-time to pay you full-time income. That's number one. Two, learning the rules of money and how money operates and creating a money mindset. Because, poor doesn't necessarily mean poor in money. It's a poor mindset, passing over opportunities repeatedly. A poverty mindset is how you think and feel about it all. And so there's a difference between being destitute. That's no money, right? But poor is a mindset. It's a poverty mindset. So when you meet people and everyone says, oh, that's a scam, this is a scam, and that's a scam. Listen, corporate America is a scam. You going to give someone else 40 hours of your life that you cannot get back for the amount of money that they deem that you are worth for that hour or for that salary or for that position, that is a scam if we want to get real honest with ourselves.
But you see, Alison, so many of us, that was based on what I can speak to myself, based on what my grandparents, what my parents, hey, you get into a good job. I work for a Fortune 500. There you go. You work for a Fortune 500 company. Stay there until the day Jesus calls you home. So you can see the change, especially with our newer generation. They're like, I don't want to be bogged down like that. So like you said, you have to shift that mindset. And what are some of the tools or the instruments that you use for some of your clientele with regards to shifting that mindset? Because that's probably like one of the hardest things that you can do. And what I love about you, Alison, is you are a realist. Okay. You are able to identify these are the issues in my life and tackle it. So how do you deal with that with people who are not there?
Well, first, okay, so, once we kind of gauge on what freedom looks like for you, what would you really love to be doing and why? Right. And, people like to say, well, what is your why? But that really means something. What is your why? Like, why would I want to be financially free? Why? And then first, okay, so then let's just look at your current money. Let's just be real about it. Do you have debt to pay off? So until you can afford, based on what we look at, to really invest in yourself, because you really have to choose to do that. And so then you might have to start with the personal development that you find on YouTube, there's plenty of it. Okay. And then you grow from there. Then you go to a conference. Then you grow to, a coach. And then everyone needs a mentor. I have mentors. We all need a mentor. But you have to take it in bite-sized pieces. And then if we really want to kind of jolt us out of some reality, because my family too, my grandparents raised my parents, or, to get a good job, or you went from high school to college or the service. That was the choices that we had, to get a good trade or get an education, to get a good job, to work 40 years. But if we look at the average social security check benefit is a bit over $1,500 a month.
Wow.
So you may tell me that I worked for 40 plus years and paid into a system that you deem, now that's the average. Some people get less, some people get more.
What's up?
But that's the average. You can't live on $1,500 a month.
Cannot.
And
not unless everything is paid off. And you
even still, depending on where you live. But, and that's why, sadly, we see people that are clearly over 70 working at Walmart or Target or in the grocery store. And so let's find ways where you can create income. And so let's start, just like Jesus will meet you at your point of need where you are right now. Let's find out where you are and set some attainable goals. And this is going to mean for people getting out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
And listen, with all due respect, and don't get me wrong, I love my family. I love my close friends. But this is a reality for all of us entrepreneurs. Do not rely on them for your success.
Well, and we've had several people, Alison, that has been on our show. And I love how they've been, shifting the mindset of people that, the job is the ultimate. It is going to carry me through my life. We've had people that said, you know what, use that job as leverage to do what you are supposed to do in your own right, in what you're supposed to be building for yourself. We cannot attain generational wealth on a job. We are actually allowing our gifts and talents, and the number one thing that we have is our time. Can't get that back. So if we're giving our gifts and talents and our time to someone else's way of getting to their generational wealth for them and their family, then that should tell you something. Because when, like you said, some of these jobs are a scam. They are taking away your gifts and talents for them. What are you doing with your gifts and talents at the number one thing? Time to build generational wealth for you and your family. What are you doing? How are you doing it? So to have someone that can open up your mindset like Alison, I would take the time out. Listen, before we go, Alison, I would love for you to give your information to our listening audience, because we are placing in our Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, we're placing on our Facebook in our live feed her information if you want to get in contact with her. But for Alison, because we got about 4 minutes before we go to break again, can you give everyone, how can they get in contact with you? And not only that, how can they volunteer with you, Alison? Because I don't want that to be missed. You had mentioned that even the volunteer work that all of us, tend to say, oh, I'm not going to do that. Most volunteer work, Alison, I have found my passion that turned into purpose through the volunteer work that I had done. How can they get in contact with you, Alison?
Well, first, I just want to show you this is a shirt that my husband and I wear out, like when we go. And it's kind of bold, right? It says, tired of your job? Open to another way to make money? Ask me how. We wear this in the store. We don't care where we go. We wear this. And it is just to get people thinking about, well, yeah, actually I am. And so if you want to have a conversation about that, you could text to 21,000, 21000, Alishane, ALISHANE. Okay, so text to 21,000, Alishane, and then you'll get our card, a digital card. You could connect with us on social media, or you can even text this number, which is 470-601-7556. 470-601-7556. You know what? Isn't it time that you start to live your dreams? Isn't it time that you, I have an acronym for GOAL, which is go out and live. Go out and live. And if you cannot say that I am going out and living every day, like some people say to Shane and I, guys, you don't have to always work. I said, well, if it don't feel like work, then it's not work.
Right.
Exactly. Now that's phenomenal. Now, Alison, I'm putting my bag on. I'm not Shane. How could you resist the face like this? Could you stay on the next half with our next guest? Because they're going to be talking about business as well. And I think you two would make a thank you. Thank you.
Oh, goodness. Well, Alison, we definitely would love for you to stay on if you can. We know that you are a busy, busy woman. We will be back with our next guest that will be on the show, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss Alex as he is making his way onto our screen. So if you guys want to watch this show in its entirety, you guys can head on over to The Real Level Up. That's The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. You're listening and watching Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from The Bee. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Dexter Moore of Dexter Moore Jazz. Real talk that takes you higher. Level up on Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
Bloated? Overweight? You could be toxic from your environment, food, and medications. It's time for a clean start. Come by or book online today.
Collection men's and women's wear has statement pieces or full head-to-toe custom design. It's the personal styling service customized to your fit, lifestyle, and budget. Hi, I'm Marion Boyd, CEO and your designer guide for success. Contact me at 770-402-0730 Eastern Standard Time from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. only. I'm on Facebook at Marion G. Boyd or Instagram at Marion_Collection1. Get in, my people, where you
Atlanta is a nonprofit 501c3 community-based organization providing holistic health and wellness with locations in Marietta and Metro Atlanta. Our qualified behavioral health professionals provide extensive counseling and treatment in substance abuse, mental health, and opioid addiction. Someone Cares offers a variety of services, and our professionals are waiting to serve you. We are not just an agency, we are a friend.
You are listening to Level Up with Sisters of the Skies Incorporated. Tune in on Sundays to Mix106Radio.com.
It's your girl, Dr. Monique Frazier, owner of Prestige Decor and More. Let's level up on Sundays, 3 to 6 p.m. with Mix106Radio.com. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
Hey, this is Santa Kerr. Level Up. Check them out every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. Don't touch that dial.
Mix 106 Radio. You are now in the mix.
And welcome back to Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, Mix 106 Radio listeners, if you guys want to watch this show in its entirety, you guys can head on over to The Real Level Up. That's The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. All right, everyone, let's get right back into our conversation. And hey, look, we've got Alison just for a few more moments, and I appreciate you, Alison, for just sticking around just for a couple of moments with us on the show. We've had a couple of people that may have had some questions and even comments that we wanted to share with you. I had a friend of mine, thank you for watching. Alison gave great info and just wanted to say hello to me and Robin and Mr. Scribe. Thank you, Tanya Turner, for checking in with us and giving us your blessing on that one. Also, who has just joined us is Timothy Robinson, Judith Miranda, Jonathan Graham. Thank you for joining us. So, Alison, I just want to give you just a few more moments before we introduce our next guest for any of your parting words to our viewing and listening audience.
Oh, well, first of all, this has been a blast, and I can't wait to come back and hang out in 2021. So, but you know what? Not only could you be the CEO of a business, but you got to be the CEO of your life. You are the CEO of your life. And you've got to make a decision of what that blueprint's going to look like. Of course, God has it all set up, but you've also got to own it. Own the not so great stuff, but own the great, and know that you have what it takes. It's already in you. It's already put inside of you. You have what it takes. You may not have been there for the construct. You didn't see the construct, but you could tell by the load that you carry that you have what it takes to go and to overcome anything. So I would love to connect with all of you. So just text Alice Shane to 21,000 and I will get back to you.
Awesome. All right, everyone. If you are watching our show, you guys can see that there is someone else that has just popped onto our platform, Mr. Alex. Let me make sure if I get this right. Hubenthal. Did I say that right?
Almost. Hubenthal. Great. Thanks for having me on, everybody. Happy to be here.
Well, great, Alex. Thank you for joining us on The Real Level Up. It has been a pleasure speaking with you yesterday, and I know you have a lot of nuggets that you want to share with our viewing and listening audience. But before we get started with our conversation, I just want Robin to give a couple of words of your bio so that people can get to know you a little better. Go ahead, Robin. Take it away.
All right. I wanted to, before we pivot into to Alex, I wanted to give a shout out to Dexter Moore. Now, that last piece that you heard us playing, now these are our independent artists, and we were able to get a hold of Dexter because of Toni Moore. You remember the lady that we had? She was the attorney with trademark and patents and all that. That's her hubby. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying the music. Wanted to share that with everyone. And for those of you who don't know Alex, he is streaming in from Bogota. Even though he's a Floridian, he's in Bogota, y'all.
Well, you see,
Him and his wife.
Too, Robin. You see, I'm at the beach as well, and I'm Bogota. But
yours is fake. He's really there with 90-degree weather, as he was telling us last night. We were freezing here in Atlanta, and he said, "Oh, that's kind of cool. Usually it's 105." I'm like, "Okay, all right, just rub it in there, Alex." But welcome to the platform, Alex. For those of you who don't know Alex, I'm just going to read a snippet of his bio. We affectionately call him Alex, but his full name is Alexander. He is the owner of Bookscaping LLC. Bookscaping LLC provides done for you for accounting and tax solution for the digital, catch it y'all, digital entrepreneur. Over the last 5 years, Alex has worked with entrepreneurs to help them better understand their business finances and help them make more informed decisions to grow their business. Alex is, like I said, he's a Floridian. He's originally from Florida, Orlando. Is that the place, Mickey Mouse? I don't know. I always get it confused. But anyway, is that Mickey Mouse? Is Mickey Mouse there, Alex?
Mickey Mouse and all the other characters that come to Florida.
Well, welcome to the Real Level Up platform. As you can see, we have some characters here. We're trying to get into the holiday, flow here. I don't know what Mr. Scribe is wearing. I don't know what that. He looks like a Joker. What is that? Is that a hat?
Looks like he's one of Santa's elves over there.
There you go,
Alex. Excellent. I don't understand why Robin couldn't know that I was one of Santa's elves.
That's because you were blending into the palm trees. I couldn't quite make it out. But Alex, welcome to the platform. Thank you so much for taking time out. And we have Alison on. So we are going to get into this whole business arena now. Alex, I don't know if I told you. Angee got to get the backstory. I don't know. It must be a Southern thing. She want to know who your people is.
Of course I have to get the backstory. So Alex, thank you once again for joining us. And I just want to, before we get into the nuggets that you're going to be sharing with us now, I don't know if you've heard, but the folks of Level Up really want to get to know you. So I always ask this question. Who was Alex at 10 years old? And usually, let me tell you where you were at 10. You were probably in the 4th or 5th grade. And usually people that are coming out of the 5th grade, they're heading over to middle school. So that's kind of when you kind of remember some things. You figured out what kind of friends you like. We're heading to the middle school level. So what were some of the things that you were thinking about when you were that little Alex at 10?
So a little bit of the backstory. Actually, I grew up in North Carolina, but went to high school and college in Orlando. Right. So I'm from the Mid-Carolina or the Mid-Atlantic area. And I grew up in a really small town, actually a really small college town in North Carolina. And we lived near some other bigger cities, but the town that we actually lived in was pretty small. And when I was a kid growing up, it's a really kind of funny story. My parents met because of the NASA shuttle program. back in the 80s. And because of that, that's how, my parents had me and then my brothers and our whole family. So the whole space program was very interesting to me, as was aviation. And I remember when I was, leaving elementary school, going into middle school, I was fascinated by aviation and aerospace and, outer space, even, all these things. And I loved math. I always loved math. I always loved the sciences and all these things. I was even a bit of a creative person as well, but my mind always leaned towards the mathematics and sciences side of things. So I remember from a really young age, I always loved numbers. I was always trying to find ways to get the answer to a math problem faster than what the teacher was teaching us. And that made the teacher infuriated. It would be infuriated with me because she's like, or he or she would be, they would say, hey, like that takes 5 steps to solve it. You solved it 2. How'd you do that? I don't know. I saw things differently. So I knew from a young age I was very talented with that, and I was a bit of a rebellious kid as well. So that's kind of why I ultimately landed in the finances, accounting, and also went my own way and wanted to become an entrepreneur. So I always felt myself entrepreneurialistic. I never saw myself as an entrepreneur. I just saw myself in doing the things that I wanted to do my own way. And if I didn't like the way something was being done, I would change it to make it the way that I wanted to change it, right? So that was probably, from a young age, I was very determined to do things my own way, be my own person. But also, I love the math and sciences.
Okay, well, and I'm sure Alison heard that because Alison says she hates math, but
I was good. There's perfect. They say opposites attract. This is so perfect to have you both on. She hates it, you love it.
Yeah. I mean, my wife, she's a fashion designer, so she's full on 100% arts, and she hates accounting. She hates it. She had to study when she was in college, and she's like, I don't know how you do this. It's just like it's just boring to her. It's not a creative process, like because I work with creatives on a daily basis, and I can play. I understand where creative people are, right? Because most of our clients are creative type people, right? So it's funny that that my wife and I met because she's full artistic side, but I'm probably lean 70% on the sciences and mathematics, analytical side of things, and I can balance the arts and stuff. But it is true, opposites do attract for sure.
No, but I appreciate you even, sharing that little tidbit of where you're coming from and what really fascinates you, because everybody, as we were talking with Alison, everybody has their own little way of, working towards their passion that eventually turns into their purpose. And so, as you were growing and now you mentioned the wife, opposites do attract. Did you actually find a little bit more in depth of what your passion turning into the purpose alongside with your wife? Because as we spoke with Alison had many relationships leading up to who she's with now, and still found compatibility in her spouse as they are growing in their businesses. Is that pretty much the same that's going on with you and your wife now?
Well, it's funny because actually, I got my first client in the company that I have right now. The first client I ever got from this type of business that I run now, right when I started dating my wife. So I was actually, right out of college. I didn't work the corporate 9-to-5 life. I jumped in with it. I was like, okay, this is okay. But over time, I didn't like it, and then I got out of it, fell flat on my face, and then had to go back with my tail between my legs. And back in the 9-to-5 life, and then finally I got out of it, right? So got to just finding that right thing. But my wife's and I journey, that would have to be for another Sunday afternoon. I can take all 3 hours telling that story, but
oh yes, okay, now be careful. You tend to do that.
But it's we play off of each other a lot, and it's interesting because she's from South America. I'm from the United States, obviously, right? So there was a cultural, a language difference. There was a lot of different things about it. But for me, it was fun. It was exciting. And it still is because, our relationship is based off of two people coming from different parts of the world, coming together and living together and being in love and being happy together, right? and we're always learning new things about each other. Some things are good, some things are frustrating, but like most things are good, right? So we get to support each other in a lot of different ways. She has her own line of bags that she's created, and we run around all over the city when we're in Bogota. Actually, from Bogota, but we're actually in Mexico right now. So just to kind of rub it in a little bit more with the cold.
What's the temperature there, Alex? What's the temperature? You were talking about
today. It's pretty cold. It's about 80 degrees outside. So
oh wow! Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, Alice. I was gonna say, Alison, what's the temperature there? What's the temperature where you are today?
Me?
Yeah.
The temperature right now is 52.
52. Boy, yikes. What a big difference there. But we don't have an issue with that, Alex. Thank you for rubbing it in.
All good.
As you were continuing to growing into your dream, actually into your dream purpose. I always say purpose, but it really is your business that you have grown into. Did you find that you, as we heard from Alison, you gain some and you lose some, and that's being relationships, that's being money, that's being the places where you are, the location. Did you find yourself doing that as we are still trying to, giving you a hard time where you are?
No. Yes, a lot of things went by the wayside. Entrepreneurship period takes a special person to want to have their own business and to go out on their own. And you have to roll the punches. Like I was telling my wife the other day, I said, entrepreneurship, like we were talking about like my business and stuff, talking about kind of reflecting on this year and how crazy this year was. Not even, that's another topic, of course, but it's I mean, you lose a lot of things, of course, but you gain a lot more. You get to you have to be able to roll the punches. And like I said to my wife the other day, I said, there's been many of days where you are hoping for a new client, or you lose a big client, or something just wipes you out, and you're like, ugh, But then you're okay, what's the alternative, right? The alternative is you go back to doing the thing that didn't make you happy in the first place, which is working in a 9-to-5 corporate life, cubicle job. Not to bash on it, because I understand that I understand that a lot of people would rather have that and have that sort of stability in their life than have kind of like the uncertainty that is entrepreneurship, right?
Right.
But there's been many days that I said I just wanted to give up, right? And it's just knowing that, okay, first of all, what's the alternative, and second, okay, is it really that bad? Right? Because then the days that you do get that client, or the days that the client comes back and says, hey, Alex, thank you so much for doing a great job on this. We really appreciate it. You gave this wherever we needed it, or you came up with this idea or the solution or whatever it was. And then it's just fireworks, right? It just makes you feel, like you're on cloud 9, and it feels amazing. So there's definitely a lot of high and lows in entrepreneurship. It takes a very special person to do it. But yes, you do lose some things, you gain others. But I think net, it's you gain more than you lose.
That's true. I mean, and that is so true, because as you're losing and gaining and losing, you're actually within yourself, you're starting to, figure out the things that you are growing into. And the things that really, I can't really say feel right, but for lack of a better term, when you know, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
No, absolutely. It's like when you know, like your gut is screaming at you, don't do this or do this.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think Alison had made mention of that earlier. In regards to, you mentioned it takes a certain type of person to be an entrepreneur. And I heard what you were saying, Alex, in terms of, the creativity. Now, Alison, would you say that is part of, in your journey with regards to dealing with people in business, there's a certain creative component to it?
There has to be, to deal with the different personalities. You almost have to create an imaginary person sometimes. You'd be like, I'm just going to pretend I'm speaking to someone that makes some sense. But no, yes. And I totally appreciate, Alex, of what you said is that those days where you're hoping that new client comes on, or that client that says that they're going to start a certain day and they do it, and because especially until you get your business to a certain level, for that small to medium-sized company, or just that person that's just starting, every new client counts. And so, and that creative side of all of us, sometimes, especially as an entrepreneur, you need to use that to alleviate some of the stress and the tension that could build up. And even if that means, that you get into a quiet place, you put on some music, you center yourself, you close your eyes, and you imagine, your imagination is where it all starts anyway. So you imagine the day that it's going to feel like, what it's going to feel like, not having to worry about, will you pay your invoice already? Will you pay your invoice already?
Can you relate to that, Alexander? Could you relate to what Alison is saying?
So many days, so many different points in time. And what Alison said is 100%. It's a creative process, but what was really interesting is, if I could isolate the creative process, I think it's relationship building and learning how to communicate with other people. Because, there was a period of time I was pretty awkward socially, growing up as a teenager. After that 5th grade kind of cute little Alex that we were talking about 20 minutes ago. Then there was this really awkward Alex. He wasn't really sure of himself. He was not 100% sure of what he wanted to do and all these things. And, you kind of get stuck in your way sometimes, right? So, actually, with entrepreneurship itself, it has forced me to go, be on other shows, go speak in front of other people, go connect with other people, go, just get comfortable with being around other people, first of all. Second of all, just building the communication and building relationships. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And we're all hanging out. We're conversing back and forth, but we're also building relationships in a sense. And that is the creative process for me, at least from where I see things. But so many days, it was okay, well, the bank's calling me on Tuesday. The invoice was due yesterday. Right. And that was, first 3 months, first 6 months is I don't know if I screwed this up or not. And then you kind of, you become more sure of yourself, more aware of yourself. And you're okay, and eventually it just becomes a thing where it's if they pay, great. If they want to do client, great. If not, then that's on them, really. I know I can help them. I know that they have an issue that needs to be solved, and I know how to help them. But if that's not for them, then that's okay. No hard feelings, no bad energy, no bad nothing, but just okay. I wish you the best, right?
Well, and what you just said is key, Alex, is knowing. When you begin to know what you bring to the table, when you begin to know, and that confidence has been built, where you know what you bring, so that it is more so, and not in a cocky sort of way, but it's, listen, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. You need my help. And so then you have that pivot, that aha moment,
mental shift.
Right, from desperation to, all right, well, listen, if you ever, change your mind and you want to come back, that's fine. I'll leave the light on for you. I promise. And that's how I've had to posture myself. So.
Absolutely.
I was going to say that's the amazing part too, how similar you guys are, because it's a faith walk. It really is a walk of faith, which people that are not entrepreneurs may not understand it. But when you walk like that, it's like what you just said, Alison, and Alex as well. Yeah, I'm kind of concerned about that invoice, but I know that my faith is going to take care, and God is going to work that situation out, where a client may walk away and then pivot forward. That same client comes back to you, and in a way, you're not, I told you so. You're more like, wow, look at what God has done. Here's something, I didn't worry about it. I wasn't concerned with it. Yet he brings it and he puts it right in my lap. at exactly the time that I needed to happen. And that's an amazing thing when certain things happen and then when they fall into place, you know who's doing it.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, you guys, we got to take a break. And when we come on the other side of the break, we will continue our conversation with Alex and Alison, the two aisles. Anyway, listen, if you guys want to watch this show in its entirety, Mix 106 Radio listeners, you guys can head on over to The Real Level Up. That's The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. You're listening and watching Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. We'll be right back.
We are about to fly. We are about to soar towards the sky. Just be real. Come on, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is PROMISSLAND, Ministry, FIRE on the MIC, Course Legacy. You blood boy, you kin to me. His blood brought adoption agency for the Lord's cause. When the Lord forced conspiracy, the Lord talked to the black sheep. It's just been Gene dying cause your color. Son dying for a mother. Cain killed his brother, but we still able. Put your heart on the table, put your head in the halo. Helping hand to amigo. Come through work when you feel low and just fly. Soar across the sky, because if you lay down and die, they gonna say you never stood for nothing when the devil was bluffing. You cussing and struggling. Now cops handcuffing, stuffing you, pushing you in the car to take a ride. When you make bail, boy, I'm telling you, boy, you better fly. Soar across the sky, not how you begin. All about the way you tarry and carry while you pray and slay. From Monday to Sunday, for the finale, when you gone, it's grass greener on the cemetery lawn. Be about that life, about that gospel. Disciples living never die. FLY.
Not to let you spread your wings, take off and fly, fly. Soar across the sky, fly.
Steel bars couldn't hold up. Fire flames couldn't burn up.
Not to let you spread your wings, take off and fly, fly. Soar across the sky, fly.
Steel bars couldn't hold up. Fire flames didn't burn up. Steel bars couldn't hold up. Fire flames couldn't burn up. Allow me to take this time and learn you something, youngin'. Ain't no future in frontin', your future in front of you. Who are you frontin' for? Transparency is the forefront of what's possible. Thugs turn to apostle. Streets on the pulpit, the realest thing I ever seen. Go ahead and fly, best of both worlds. Get the best out of you when you call. Too blessed for stress, too anointed for disappointment, too endowed to act how, too sanctified to believe the devil lies, too slain to feel any pain, too much favor to be on the naughty list, too much discernment to let you pimp my gift, too prayed up to let my flesh mess it up, too many brothers and sisters in Christ to feel like I ain't got no family, holy rolling with me, I'm about to fly, set the sky aflame, holy fire dragon, breathing on folks' pain, filled with propane, living water is heated, hot tea for the hot topic, can't top his performance, or fit my God into a locket, get the picture, 1 million prophets take flight, 100 million prophecies manifest, Ancestry.com, bloodline, loyalty, you better fly.
Not to let you spread your wings, take off and fly, fly. Soar across the sky, fly.
Steel bars couldn't hold up. Fire flames couldn't burn up.
Not to let you spread your wings, take off and fly, fly. Soar across the sky, fly.
Steel bars couldn't hold up. Fire flames didn't burn up. Steel bars couldn't hold up. Fire flames couldn't burn up.
Soar across the sky.
We about to fly. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you get home. Hey, baby, when you come home, darling, I'm every woman. It's all in me. I can read your thoughts right now. Everyone from A to Z.
Hey, this is Nolan Holloway, aka Mr. Scribe. Just letting you know that I have 3 books of poetry that's available on Amazon.com. So when you get a chance, go to Amazon.com, look up Nolan P. Holloway Jr., not Mr. Scribe, and pick up one of my books for your enjoyment. Peace.
Unveiled Treasures Bookstore. We offer a variety of items: church supplies, homeschool resources, music, books, and gifts. Our free ministry partners online affiliate program provides a collection of Christian resources. Unveiled Treasures, exquisite jewels to enrich your soul.
This is Marion Boyd with Marion Collection, real talk that takes you higher, level up. On Sundays from 3 to 6 p.m. It's ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
Hey, this is Gina A. Towns on Real Talk that takes you higher, level up. Sundays 3 to 6 p.m. on Mix 106 Radio. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
Hey, this is Alison Feliciano. Level up. Check them out every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. Don't touch that dial.
Hey, this is Richard Shaw Jr. Make sure you're believing again. Also, level up. Check them out every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Mix106Radio.com.
Mix 106 Radio. You are now in the mix.
And welcome back to Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, Mix 106 Radio listeners, if you guys want to watch this show in its entirety, you guys can head on over to The Real Level Up. That's The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. Well, before we get back into our conversation with Alex and Alison, I just want to give a shout out. Now, we shout out one of our independent artists, but let's shout out everyone else who has been featured on our show thus far. I just want to give a shout out to Joanna Hale McGill. Awesome talent, girl. Lord, the first time that I met you, you were an amazing talent and personality. Love everything that you are doing. You guys head on over and check her out and support her. Also, Gina A. Towns. Now, she is the person that brought us Joy Noel. Oh, my goodness. That song is amazing. I will continue to play that song throughout this holiday season because it is just beautiful and right on time. Thank you, Miss Gina, for allowing us to share that with the world. Also, Be Wise. Be Wise, oh my goodness, what an amazing talent. This brother, I'm telling you, each and every show since he's been on our show, we have been featuring him because he is class act. Promised Land. That song that just played is by Promised Land and is one of my favorites. We've got some other talent that we will be featuring on this show, you guys. We don't want to forget our amazing talent, which is Mike Jeezy, who will be coming up very, very shortly. You don't want to miss his amazing talent as well. He has just been a great supporter along with his whole entourage. Okay, let me just say this. For all the independent artists that we are featuring, I want you guys to give us the same kind of love. So as we are sharing your beautiful talent to the world, just hit that share button and let everybody know that Level Up is here and we are supporting you in all of your endeavors as well. Go ahead, Robin. You had a couple of people you want to shout out as well.
Well, I really wanted to shout out Clean Start. And for those of you, they were on maybe a few weeks back, and they gave us great information to get our health in order. Okay, what starts in your gut is going to cause a major issue. So Clean Start, I don't have to elaborate, Alex and Alison, in terms of what Clean Start is. We'll leave it at that. But I wanted to give them a shout out once again. They did an amazing job with regards to Mary Goolsby, who is Mike Jeezy's mom. They had a fantastic time at the facility. They learned a lot that is actually a turning point with regards to Carmen and her health and wellness. So we've added to the family at Clean Start, the Jeezy posse will be utilizing their services, and they were so appreciative of the spirit of excellence that was provided. And let me just say this for Nolan and Angee. I know y'all abuse me, and it's okay. But Clean Start, they love me. Let me tell you how much they love me. I went in for my regular services, and guess what they gave me? A monogram towel, all to my own. No other customer has that. Just for Unwa. So y'all better be careful, because they may grab me up. Go ahead, Angee. Take it away.
No, what I also noticed before we go back to you, Angee, is Robin changed from a reindeer to an elf. Did you notice?
I did notice that, Mr. Scribe. I'm trying to ignore the antics that she is. Hold on, Robin. I'm trying to ignore the antics that she is doing on this show. But in the spirit of the holiday season, I'm going to allow her just to show it. If you ignore it, Mr. Scribe, then you understand.
We'll say it's Alex's fault because he's from Orlando, and I remembered I had my little character hat, so I'm putting it all on Alex.
Okay, so you're blaming Alex for it. Anyway, back to the show. Everyone, thank you guys for tuning in. We really, really appreciate you guys tuning in to the show, each and every Sunday. Just Alex, once again, thank you for, just gracing us with your ever presence. So what we want to get right back into is the real reason that you are here, and just give our viewing and listening audience a little tidbit about your business.
Perfect. So just want to make sure mic is on. Good to go. With our business, what we do is we work with digital entrepreneurs, so people that don't have a brick and mortar storefront physical presence. They sell products and services online, and we work with clients from when they're just getting started in business to offer them guidance on the best path forward for them from a tax perspective, from a financial perspective, and then we work with them to say, okay, where do you want to take this thing? Or what's kind of like your end goal? What's your 5-year goal kind of type of stuff, right? And have them give us that picture for us, and then we can work backwards on the map and then show them, okay, this is how you're going to get here. And then if they say, hey, we want to scale, we want to, we actually just took a client last year from $10,000 to $150,000 in product sales a month. And it's an e-commerce brand that's actually, they're also from Orlando as well. And it was through working together and putting strains on the business everywhere, and that actually led them to getting a massive investment in their company. So they were very happy about that. So it's really us sitting down, having conversations, saying, okay, where are you now? Where do you want to go? And then us working with the business owner, our clients, to get to where they want to go ultimately. And it's just really fun watching that transformative process. And just also sometimes we got to reassure them that, yes, you might be stressed out right now, but this is what you asked for. So, it's like, don't come crying to me. I'm sorry. I'm just taking you where you wanted to go. But also just working, not just from a growth perspective, but also trying to legally keyword legally, find places to reduce the tax liabilities, and you allow them to reinvest that money back into their company so that they can grow the company, grow the team, or do whatever they want with the company.
I would say, Alex, even during this pandemic, so many people are pivoting their companies. Shoot, your phones must be ringing off the hook, because if I look at that smile, if I have to say, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're even taking a lot of the brick and mortar companies and turning them into online businesses. Am I saying that correctly?
We can. We've only done that in one occasion. Okay. Most of our clients are already tech savvy, where they understand kind of the Shopify, Amazon, e-commerce kind of business models, and it's kind of interesting. Most of them are kind of in the younger generation. We don't really work with. We haven't really had the opportunity to work with a lot of people under the age of 40. So they're kind of millennial types, like they're very tech savvy people. They understand the back ends, the workings of everything. But there was one client where they had a brick and mortar physical presence, and then they wanted to shift part of their operations online. So with our background and our knowledge, we have been able to successfully do that. And it's just a different way of operating, a different way of thinking, a different way of you don't get to see your customers come into your store. They come visit your website, or they go to your Instagram channel, or they go to Pinterest, or whatever that platform is, and then they say, okay, well, this is really pretty, or this is really cute, or I would like to get this for my husband, or whatever. And then they make that buying decision there. So you're actually not there with them making the buying decision, but all the things that you've already put on the website, discounts, or time-sensitive sales, or incentives, or free shipping, or all these things that you can implement to make that buying decision easier for people that come to your store online.
If I could just say something, Angee, yes. See how what I said before, how we've pushed further from brick and mortar to click and order.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right? Now, although why I just felt very old, Alex, when you were like, those people that are under 40, I'm like, so what are you trying to say, Alex?
The strict millennial and Gen Z people.
But you know what? We have actually helped people that are, over that 40 who may not be as tech savvy still operate in that quote unquote drop shipping space and, being able to be their own online shopping club. I mean, but we do work with Gen Z and the millennials. What's really interesting about the Gen Z generation, and Alex, I'm not sure if you would agree, but they are the highest consumers of eco-friendly products. They are the highest consumers and the highest, they will push for that. And when we recently this summer started to convert our own home, my children who are 21 and 25 were like, well, Mom, it's about time. I was like, what?
What?
And so, but yeah, so that's why I keep on telling people, are you in position? Because if people didn't wake up when they saw like Payless shoes go out of business.
Right.
Right. I think we should have gotten a clue when Blockbuster went under. Okay. But we didn't get a clue then. And then we see the red box, that red box, and then in came Netflix. Right.
Exactly.
And so then Payless Shoes goes under, Toys R Us goes under, and what happens is that, or what happened, and we just weren't paying attention, is that Amazon went from selling just books to selling everything.
Everything, exactly.
And just to give you a quick story, when we went to Maine this summer, my father-in-law is 86, and he could not find apple jelly anywhere, and he was saying, "I went to all the stores." I'm like all the stores in Bangor, Maine, and you can't. He says, nobody has it. Nobody. So I picked up my phone, Amazon.com, apple jelly. Well, there you go. I had a 6-pack sent to him, and he was like, "You went on that thing and got apple jelly?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'll be darned. I'll be darned." And so, click in order, be in position.
No.
Well, Alex, go ahead, Alex.
No, it's 100%. It's 100% true what she's saying, and it's also not just like at the rate technology is changing, or has been changing the last, let's say, 40 years, 30, 40 years. Things are moving faster and faster and faster than ever, and you have to be very keen and aware of what's going on in your surrounding in your space. For example, in the accounting and finance space, right? I could probably put money on it that in 10 years from now, that the job of a bookkeeper will be completely automated. The automation tools and the automation systems and all these things and technology and everything is just amazing. There's an application platform that we use with our clients. It's a document management system, like for receipts and things like this. Okay. And once you train the system, like you put it in once or twice, the system learns. And you say, okay, this is Alex's daily or 3 times a day trip to Starbucks and whatever. And they automatically fill in everything in, and they send this prepackaged copy of a receipt with all the relevant data on it into the accounting system, into the accounting platform. And then it just says, is this right? And the computer asks you, the software asks you, is this correct? Does this match up correctly? And you say yes. And all the back end relevant information is done. You already have a copy of the receipt. You already have everything from an audit standpoint taken care of, all these things. And it's just, you'll see these things. And even with not just the internet, but what's next with the internet. Just watch what's happening with virtual reality. Like, people are not going to go on to Amazon in 20 years and just go look at something that might fit. I don't know. And they're going to put on the virtual reality thing, or there's going to be something that in the future that you're going to be able to say, okay, you try it on and you look at yourself from somehow or some way, and you'll be able to see what that shirt or that dress or those pants look like or those shoes look like on you, and you're just sitting at home, just hanging out. And it's just going to be really, really rapid acceleration in the tech space that we're going to see in the next 20 to 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, because we're kind of seeing that now. I was fooling around online, and there was the algorithms learn what you look at on social media. So if you look at flowers, you're going to get a whole bunch of that. Glasses, they had it where your webcam on your phone or your laptop looks at your face. You can try different frames, and you can actually order glasses online. So
that's actually how I bought my last pair of sunglasses, yeah.
Right.
It's true.
You can do it, and it's all moving in that direction. So being savvy, you don't have to understand all of it, but knowing the trends and preparing yourself is kind of what we need to be doing at this point.
Yeah, and paying attention to the trends, like Alex was saying. Now, Alex, I'm probably gonna go in an arena that I don't know. I don't know if everyone was watching this week with regards to the whole cryptocurrency, how Bitcoin shot up. Can you speak to that? Because we're talking about pay attention to the trends, because now, before back in, 2012 or what have you, people are, don't do that, don't deal with that. But now a lot of big boys, the PayPals and the Morgan Stanleys, they're going in that arena. Can you speak to that in regards to the whole digital currency?
Yeah, it's actually funny because I kind of play in that a little bit myself. So not saying that I'm not disclosing that I hold anything, but I'm just saying that I study it and I play in it. But I'm really excited about the whole crypto space and the whole idea of blockchain, not specifically from a currency standpoint, but from the technology of the blockchain itself.
Yes.
And the reason why is because there's all these coins, there's all these things popping up that actually serve as a business purpose. And there's like for example, there's a coin called Chainlink, or it's a token actually, but it's something called Chainlink, and it's something that was developed for multinational companies to be able to validate that certain things have occurred in a business transaction or in a business process, right? And these things are validated via third-party, peer-to-peer, publicly validated activities, and it's going to make the business processes from a multinational standpoint way more efficient, because now you don't need to call Sally in the logistics office, say, hey, did customer ABC pay their purchase order, or something along those lines. You're going to have these things actually automatically happening, because when I worked in the multinational companies for a few years, one of the hardest things was the ERP systems. And the ERP systems are the enterprise resource platform, being very technical. Basically, it's a all-in-one package that will handle everything from a business aspect, from accounting to finance to purchasing to, the whole business operations can be managed and processed. All the activities can be processed from there. And it's a bit of a manual process because you have to manually create certain things, you have to manually do certain activities. But what's really exciting about that is it's actually I see these things actually being automatically done. And it kind of goes back to my comment a few minutes ago of saying, okay, well, I think the actual bookkeeper itself, or the actual person reconciling transactions, that'll be done automatically. That'll be automatically reconciled, automatically auditable. There'll be a public record log somewhere that you can have all these things be out there. And from crypto spaces as well, what you're starting to see, and this is my unprofessional opinion, is the institution starting to come in. Okay. And you see Square. Square actually kicked off the rally that's actually going on with the crypto space that started back in October, right? So Jack Dorsey said, hey, we're buying, I think it was $50 million worth of crypto assets. And then, 2 weeks later, then PayPal jumped in and said, all right, now we're going to start letting everyone buying and holding and selling and transacting crypto assets on the PayPal platform. Okay. And now you have these large financial institutions, almost like banks, almost to a degree, where they are buying up all of the currency. And the reason why you're seeing the price going up so much is because there's a supply issue, right? So because you brought up the whole crypto space, you might be familiar with the halving event. The halving event is basically what happens when a set of computers, the miners, they solve the complex algorithms, and then they get rewarded from solving the block, right? Hence blockchain. And every 4 to 5 years, there's a halving event, and that's at certain blocks. So blocks are stacks of transactions that get processed in groups, right? That's basically the best way to explain it. And when the miners solve the block, they get a reward. The reward being the Bitcoin. So you're mining, quote unquote, the Bitcoin, right? Okay. And every 4 years, that reward is halved, right? So every 4 years, every 5 years, at certain block numbers, the rewarding is halved. So there's less supply, being generated in the marketplace, but the demand is remaining the same. So if you go back and think about macroeconomics that you learned in high school, I was terrible at macro and microeconomics. I had to take it 3 times in college to pass it, but at least I understand supply and demand curves. But if you think about it, if supply goes down but demand remains the same, price will go up, right? So that's kind of what you're starting to see here. And what's actually happening is the amount of purchasing of specifically Bitcoin and other crypto assets is there's more purchasing occurring on a daily basis than there are new coins being minted to be put into supply, right? So
I'm sorry, Alex, I'm going to have to can you stick a pin in that one?
Sure.
In actuality, I did the same thing to Alison. Lordy, I do the same thing to you. I got to take this break.
You're fine.
You are hitting on something that people's ears are like this. What is he talking about? So hang on to that thought until we come back on the other side of the break. Let me tell you guys, we only have a few moments. Mix 106 radio listeners, we only have a few more moments with Alex, but we are going to be asking Alex, can you come to our after show?
Of course. I will
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So everyone that is listening to my sound of my voice, if you guys want to watch this show in its entirety and also be a part of our after show, Alex has a lot more to share with us. My goodness, it always happens to us. We run out of time every time. But if you guys want to be a part of our after show, head on over to The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. You're listening and watching Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. We'll be right back.
All right, let's run it back. Yeah, Mike Jesus. That's right. It say in the book of Psalms, make a joyful noise unto the Lord. That's right. So you know what? We finna make a little bit right now and turn it up on high. Bumping holy tracks in the back of the Cadillac while we snapping so dramatic and turn it up on high. Go west, I'm shaking the block. It ain't no stopping. We rockin', keep it and poppin'. Turn it up on high. That's what they be hearing when I'm coming to the block. It be like I'm bumping G-O-D and it ain't gon' stop cause we on that sticky, icky word. Take it to the head for the Lord, yes sir. I really feel it in my nerves, making it hard for me not to serve. As I'm in the parking lot bumping, feel the bass beneath your feet. I'ma keep on rapping till God is all up and down the streets. I should've told ya, but if I said it once, I say it again. Only way you're gonna make it with God is you gotta play to win. So when you in a Suburban with Donna McClurkin, just turn it up. Kirk Franklin banging while you doing your thing, man, just lift them up. Turn it up on high, on the Holy Spirit till you feel good inside. Let the Spirit take over and enjoy the ride. Yeah, Holy Spirit make it feel good from your head to your feet. Ain't no point in trying to please me. Do what you gotta do with the major your D, so you can see why I lift my hands high. I ain't got to lie to the boys round her, cause if you can't get close to this, I'm really trying to get up in your ear and turn it up on high. Bumping holy tracks in the back of the Cadillac while we snapping so dramatic and turn it up on high. Go west, I'm shaking the block. It ain't no stopping. We rockin', keep it and poppin'. Turn it up on high. Bumping holy tracks in the back of the Cadillac while we snapping so dramatic and turn it up on high. Go west, I'm shaking the block. It ain't no stopping. We rockin', keep it and poppin'. Turn it up on high. And listen, while you whipping 285, don't let it try. Just remember that we gotta rep his name on high. Forget tomorrow, we gotta do it right now. Cause tomorrow you might be living in the sky. Anybody got a problem with it, I'ma tell you what, take it up with the man on high. Now as I'm bumping my Alpine, treble up, speakers loud, I'm about to tell you a little secret pertaining my gosh. Jeremiah got a fire inside of him and it made him jump. And for me it's like I got 215s bumping off in my trunk. Back then my praise was on low, but now it's up to the maximum. I'm bagging all these demons, let's shout it, my God ain't having it. Think you can handle them? I'd like to see you try. My God, I beat it even down to the ground like it's a baseline. You know there ain't no stopping, so I gotta keep it popping. Rim spinning with the Holy Spirit and plus the beat is knocking. I'm one of the millions of soldiers that's keeping the word alive. But I'ma kill this beat just like it flatline and turn it up on high. Bumping holy tracks in the back of the Cadillac while we snapping so dramatic and turn it up on high. Go west, I'm shaking the block. It ain't no stopping. We rockin', keep it and poppin'. Turn it up on high. Bumping holy tracks in the back of the Cadillac while we snapping so dramatic and turn it up on high. Go west, I'm shaking the block. It ain't no stopping. We rockin', keep it and poppin'. Turn it up on high. Bumping holy tracks in the back of the Cadillac while we snapping so dramatic and turn it up on high. Turn up in here. Go west, I'm shaking the block. It ain't no stopping. We rockin', keep it and poppin'. Turn it up on high. Bumping holy tracks in the back of the Cadillac while we snapping so dramatic. Turn it up on high. Go west, I'm shaking the block. It ain't no stopping. We rockin', keep it and poppin'. Turn it up on high.
I became severely anemic as a result of my fibroids. My energy level was just very low, just always very fatigued, very low sex drive. I think my only regret about my fibroid situation is that I didn't do it sooner. I feel amazing now. I feel great. Women, listen to me. You deserve to be happy and healthy again. No one has time for fibroids. Please look into UFE. contact Dr. Lipman and get your happy back, get your life back, get your sex back. Be the woman that you were before fibroids.
It's been long enough that you've been walking around in the wilderness trying to figure out, who am I? Why am I here? What gifts do I have to make a difference? Well, it's time to warm it up. Discover your true identity. Unleash your gifts and impact the world to become a more bolder, braver, and courageous you. Join me, Kathy Hood, at a life-changing workshop, Woman Up, the journey of owning your power and unleashing your true self.
Damon Collins. I'm an actor, producer, author, and speaker. I'm excited to share my first book entitled Shattered: A Journey Through the Pieces. I wrote this book because there are millions of people like me in this world who are searching for purpose while navigating emotional distress. This book is for anyone who wants to be the producer of their own life. The reader will be encouraged to know that if they, 1, keep God first, 2, learn how to make peace with the pieces in our lives, and finally 3, never deter from your dreams, that you will see your purpose fulfilled. I love you, and go grab this book on Amazon.com, Shattered: A Journey Through the Pieces.
This is Jackie, Hollywood Mims. Listen or watch Level Up each and every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. Keep it locked right here.
Hi, this is George Vincent.
And Rick Irvin.
And we are the Heavenly Deposit Team, and
we need you to level up. Listen in every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. and we look forward to having you tune in to Mix106Radio.com.
Hey, this is Jonathan Graham from Black Out the Box, and you're listening to Angee from the B, Mr. Scribe, and Robin from NYC. Level Up every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m.
Hey, this is your girl, Joanna Hill McGill, Walmart's first Next Gospel Superstar winner. I need you to level up. Tune in every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on Mix106Radio.com.
Mix 106 Radio. You are now in the mix.
And welcome back to Level Up, Real Talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the B. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out with us this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Well, folks, we are coming toward the end of our show today, and I just want to thank once again Alison Feliciano for coming on and sharing her good news, good gifts, everything that she has been able to share with us, you guys. Nuggets. If you guys have missed it, once we have finished this live broadcast, you guys can head on over to The Real Level Up on Facebook and YouTube and watch it again. Not only that, share it again. Because I'm telling you, everything that we are sharing here today and in the future, you guys always share this information, because we are working week in and week out to share some very vital information that can even reposition your life, save a life. You never know. So please share this information. So what I would like to do, because we're having Alex to go into our after show, I want everyone to make sure that you got a chance to get the information, if you are listening, from Alison Feliciano. She's about to go. You guys know she is a busy woman, and we gotta let her go. But of course, she's going to be coming on some of our future shows. You guys just stay tuned with The Real Level Up on Facebook and YouTube to find out when we're going to have her back. So, Alison, before you go, for our listening audience, can you let them know how they can get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So you can text to 21,000, text Ali Shane, ALISHANE. So Alice Shane to 21,000. I don't know if you can see it on here. Alice Shane. That's Alice Shane right there. You're like, what's Alice Shane? I'm Alison. My husband's Shane, so we're Alice Shane. But to just quickly touch on cryptocurrency, because we trade foreign currency, commodities, and cryptocurrency. Can I just tell you guys, it's almost like vinegar coming through my teeth. Back when Bitcoin first came out, I was in Florida and I was offered free Bitcoin. And I sat there going, okay, wait, hold on. So you're telling me that there's this coin that I can't see or touch, but it's going to be worth a lot of money and I could use it to buy stuff with. And the people were like, yeah. I remember this is 2009. I said, man, get out of my face. I said, what are you smoking? I was like, you're crazy, because, I'm coming from the finance field, I'm used to fiat money, right?
Uh-huh.
But that's so, of course, now I just get sick to think how much money I would have had. Like, I was being offered like 100 Bitcoin. Okay.
You would have been a rich woman today, Allison. You would have been a rich woman today. See?
So, but
look
when
at
I
Alex. Alex is smiling and laughing.
I know, Alex. I know. Kick me now, but thankfully, when you begin to learn the rules of money and you learn how to not have your money parked at the bank or even in, I'm not knocking hedge funds, I'm not knocking 401ks, but you have to learn the rules of money and how it multiplies. Well, and so that's the great thing about trading. And I love the fact that Alex is traveling, because with everything that Shane and I do, we could be in Georgia, we could be in Timbuktu, and as long as we have Wi-Fi, we could still make money.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so
we're gonna pick Alex's. That's what we're gonna pick Alex's brain on this after show here. He's the mastermind strategist. Now, Alex, I already know you're part of a mastermind group, so we're gonna pick your brain. So those of you who are listening and you want to know some things, you need to hop on the after show on Facebook and YouTube. That's all I'm gonna say.
Absolutely. Well, before the listening audience is cut loose here, Alex, just the listening audience, because we have our viewing audience that's going to go from 6 to 6:30. So once again, as Robin said, if you guys want to listen to what else Alex has to say, you got to hop on over to the real Level Up on Facebook and YouTube. But before we let the listening audience go, Alex, give your information so that they can hear it. And then if they want to see it, they will have to come on over to Facebook, because we are typing in your information on Facebook.
Yeah, you guys can reach me at taxstrategiesbook.com. You'll see another short video of myself there. You just put in your email and your name, and then you can be directed from there to schedule an appointment with me. And with that tax strategies book, there's actually 60 plus tax strategies that we use with our clients to customize for whatever that applies to them, and then we use those ideas, those strategies, those thoughts to help them reduce their tax bill and to use that money to reinvest back into their company. Nice.
All right, for all of you guys who are listening on Mix106Radio.com, we're going to bid you guys farewell. So if you want any more information and you want to follow where we are going at The Real Level Up on Facebook as well as YouTube. We also have presence on Instagram and LinkedIn. So all of the information that you need to find out about The Real Level Up can be found there as well. We are on our way to new endeavors, everyone. So I want everyone to make sure that you continue to follow us, especially on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, as well as Instagram and YouTube. So just want to make sure that everyone is aware that we love you guys. We wish everyone the best in all of your endeavors. Level Up will continue to be a presence in the marketplace, sharing more and more testimonies as well as great information to keep you guys leveling up. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take our break at this moment. For the people who are watching, everyone who is listening, we take care and we will see you soon. All right.
Some truth. Now and then I feel I'm talking, feel I'm speaking to myself. Is anyone determining me more? Is anyone living for his glory's well? Is anyone determined anymore? Is anyone living for his glory's well? I am. I'll be his light and I'll shine, 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 shine. I believe there's a purpose and a destiny for us all. You can be what he puts in your heart. You can do it. Don't give up. No. Is anyone listening to him? Can you hear what God said? Is anyone listening to him? Can you hear what he said? I can. I'll be his light and I'll shine, 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 shine. It's okay, don't have to be afraid. Take a breath and step out on your faith. It's okay, don't have to be afraid. Just relax, let Jesus guide your way. And just shine, 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 oh, shine, 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 shine.
Kim Ikemia Arrington is a career empowerment speaker, business strategist to career professionals, and employed entrepreneurs who are building their businesses while working demanding full-time job as well as a visionary event producer. She is on a mission to help the massive take career control by positioning them to transition into careers, businesses, and life they love on their terms. Kim certainly affirms that you can love your Mondays by doing only the work you desire and enjoy. Who says you can't love your Mondays? Kim affirms that you most certainly can.
Have you been sluggish, bloated, overweight? You could be toxic from your environment, food, and medications. It's time for a clean start. Come by or book online today.
Hey, this is Nolan Holloway, aka Mr. Scribe. Just letting you know that I have 3 books of poetry that's available on Amazon.com. So when you get a chance, go to Amazon.com, look up Nolan P. Holloway Jr., not Mr. Scribe, and pick up one of my books for your enjoyment. Peace.
Introducing Rain Premium Sanitary Napkin. Rain has an innovative design that is made with a strip infused with Nobel Prize-winning material, graphene. The infused graphene strip may provide various health benefits that potentially help relieve painful abdominal cramps, help balance the body's pH, help eliminate harmful bacteria, help with aroma, help fight fatigue, boost metabolism, boost immune system. Graphene moves heat away from your core and contains vibrational energy. In this test, we will add water to the graphene strip and then place a 7-watt light bulb onto the strip to demonstrate the level of energy contained. These medical claims have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. All results may vary. Protect the most precious jewel in the world, you. For more information, contact the person who referred you to this video. Rain is exclusively designed by Jewel Sanitary Napkins, LLC.
Treasures Bookstore. We offer a variety of items: church supplies, homeschool resources, music, books, and gifts. Our free ministry partners online affiliate program provides a collection of Christian resources. Unveiled treasures, exquisite jewels to enrich your soul.
What's up? It's your boy Fred Jones. Let's level up on Sundays 3 to 6 p.m. with Mix106Radio.com. Ordinary people with extraordinary stories.
It's Dr. Robert Frazier, CEO of SIP Educational Consulting, and it's time to level up every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. We look forward to having you tune in to Mix106Radio.com. Real talk that takes you higher.
This is Be Wise. Listen or watch Level Up every Sunday from 3 to 6 p.m. Keep it locked right here.
Soy Udanis y te invito a escuchar cada domingo de 3 a 6 de la tarde Level Up. Sube el nivel. Gente corriente con historias extraordinarias. No te lo pierdas.
Mix 106 Radio. You are now in the mix.
And welcome back to Level Up, real talk that takes you higher. I am your host, Angee from the Bee. Welcome back, everyone. And thank you guys for hanging out a little bit more with us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Hey, this is what we call our after show. And Alex, in case you don't know, this is all about family now. This is everyone that is watching us because what we do not have right now is our listening audience, but it gives them the opportunity. We invite them, Alex. So, if you guys want to continue to, be a part of the show, we usually tell people to, head on over, especially to our Facebook page, because that's where we can take the questions and comments. So with our after show, it gives us an opportunity to be a little bit more intimate, hone in on the people that have the questions and comments. So, right now, I wanted you to get back into, because we had a few people that were like, wait a minute, cryptocurrency. What is he talking about? What is it all about? Now, Alex, from the people who are novice, I'm not really a novice in this space. I've kind of dipped and dabbed into it a little bit, but from anyone who just, they keep hearing about it, they keep saying, oh, you guys need to look into it. What will be the first thing that you will say to, especially us old heads, 40 and up? Okay, we're not millennials, we're Generation X. What can you say to us or help us along the way to even take a look at it, get into it, from your perspective? Because I saw that big smile on your face when you start talking about it. This is your passion.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's just one of those things that's always changing, and it's going to continue to change. It's one of those things that you have to look at on the horizon for the next 20 to 30 years. It's kind of like being internet era of, the early to mid 90s, right? And
right.
A lot of people say, "Oh, what's this internet thing? I can get mail on this thing. I can't touch it. I don't go to the mailbox. What is this?" And it's kind of the same thing with like these digital platforms and these assets. And the best thing to do is just to go to Google and start looking around and educating yourself on. There's several platforms out there that offer basic information on it. There are several videos on YouTube. If you're just trying to understand the basics, the idea is that it could be a store of wealth into the future. It could be. Right now, it's a speculative investment, like very speculative, and they're basically you have to look at it as, okay, if you put $100 into this thing, then you just lost $100, and you have to be okay with that, right? Because even though you have to just put it in your mind that that is $100 gone. Not that you've lost it, but just be okay with the fact that that thing could go to zero, right? Because it's just so speculative, and it's very, very high risk, right? But it is a very interesting concept. It is a very interesting thing to look at. There's a lot of technological and business benefits from this type of technology. But everyone's focused on Bitcoin and all these other things. But there's thousands of different projects, thousands of tokens and assets and coins and things that are just being popped up. And the thing is the first thing is be very wary of scams. Like there's people saying, "Yeah, I'll send you $25 for free, but you got to give me your address first." Like these types of things, like your address, like your wallet address type of stuff. Okay. People will never, or say, "Hey, give me $25 in Bitcoin first, and then I'll give you 50 back or something." These types. There's a whole bunch of scams like that out there, and as that continues to become more popular, there will be a lot more scams going on. You'd be very aware and very wary of that. In terms of trading and just getting your feet wet.
Yeah.
The best platform out there, the best easy-to-use platform out there is called Coinbase. That they actually just filed to go public in the United States. They just filed the SEC documents this past week. So that is huge news for anybody because basically they act as a exchange platform, and you can hold things there, and you don't have to understand what a wallet is. You don't have to understand what an address is. It's all kind of set up for you in the back end, right? And you don't have to go plug in a USB drive and go put files somewhere like back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, right? Where you had to plug in a USB drive, put a folder somewhere on the USB drive, and then store this data, right? That now what we call crypto assets, Bitcoin, all these things.
Yeah, and hardware. It's called the hardware.
And hardware. So it's all done for you. You can literally download the app on your phone, or they have a very nice user-friendly interface platform desktop on the internet, and you can keep it there. And it's I've never had any issues myself. being in there, just clicking around and having fun. I've never heard anybody have issues with it either. But it's from the mindset of an individual, just be okay with that going to zero. If whatever you put into it, be okay with it going to zero. Just say, yep, it's gone. Like, I spent it. Like, it's like going to the racetrack, or it's like going to the casino, right? It's like
very volatile. It's very, very volatile. It's not for the faint in heart at all. You know, so I'm glad you said that, Alex, to let people know, you know, what the possibilities are. But before we had cut to the break, you were talking about you're getting more into a technical component of it, and you were talking about these large companies buying, you know, this huge amount. I think I don't know if it was Morgan Stanley, and one of them bought $750 million worth of crypto, and you were talking about, you know, the amount that's out there, and, you know, every 4 years. Can you go back to that and kind of break that down? Because I'm scratching my head here.
No, you're fine. So that's more the technical side of things from this kind of concept, and the idea is that it's what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a whole lot of institutions. We're seeing publicly traded companies, both in the United States and in Europe, jumping in and just dropping a whole lot of cash. And people are like, well, why is this happening? And it's because a lot of these companies have a lot of concerns over the Western world, North America and Europe, over the countries and the governments just printing money, right, left and right. And we see that a lot with what's happening this year. Actually, just as a quick kind of fact, there's, in the entire history of the United States, the 250 years or however long the United States has been, I don't have the number off the top of my head, but since the inception of the United States, in this year alone, in 2020, 28% of all dollars ever created in the United States was generated this year. So that is a whole lot of money. And the reason for that is because we had coronavirus, we had lockdowns. In the United States, it was much easier in terms of lockdowns than in other parts of the world. Actually, in South America, we were in quarantine for 6 months. We had no flights in and out for 5 months out of Colombia, right? So that's actually why we're in Mexico right now, because we're like, woohoo, freedom, kind of. But there's a lot of concern with these institutions looking at, this seems to be what's called the deflationary asset. What that means is there's a fixed supply ever to be generated in the entire history of this project, this idea. And that's why, if you look at gold has always been a store of value because it's very rare and it's very valuable. You can't really exchange it for dollars really easily. You can't do a lot of things with it, but it's a store of value, right? And the reason behind that is because it's considered a deflationary asset. It's very scarce. It's very rare. So it's valuable, right? And the same idea is behind, Bitcoin. I mean, there's other projects like YFI, that one token itself, I think, went to like $40,000, $45,000 earlier this year. And then it, tumbled a little bit, and it's just bouncing around right now, I think, the last time I checked. But, and the reason why, because that price is so much higher is because there's a lot less coins available for trade and for market and to move back and forth, right? So what you're seeing with these institutions, they're buying all this stuff up because they don't want to deflate their business, right? Because if you look back at what the Fed and the Treasury has said this year is that their target for inflation for the next 2 years is a 2% inflation rate. That's the target. Now, if they achieve that, great. If they underachieve it, they overshoot it. If they undershoot it, okay. But that's kind of the ballpark. And if you think in the next 10 years, that means that your dollar today is worth 81 cents 10 years from now. That same dollar, that $1 that you have, the $1 bill, I don't know if we even have $1 bills anymore. I think we do. But that same dollar is just going to be worth a lot less. And you've seen that over time. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but we had the $2 bill, right?
Yes.
And once in a blue moon, I'll find the $2 bill lying around. And I remember about 10 years ago, not 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I had found one. And I was like, let me, go try to use this at the fast food restaurant. I forget where I was. And the kid working at the cashier is like, "This is fake." He's like, "What is this?" And I said, "It's the $2 bill." He's like, "I've never seen it in my life before." It's like, well, if you read it, actually, it's legal tender. You know, I can use this to like pay for things. And he gave me the hardest time. He actually had to call like his manager over,
Manager,
like, look at it and whatever. So yeah, the manager's like, yeah, that's real. That's true. And it's just
$2 bill.
Yep. You don't see things really anymore with that, and so you see this happening over and over again. The institutions are coming in, and they're buying up more every day than what's actually being made daily right now from the processing of these transactions, right? So the actual current supply is being sucked up. The new supply is being sucked up by what's currently getting in right now and currently being involved. And that's what's driving the price up, right? So, like, I mean, you still see some institutional investors, or not, like, I don't want to say institutional investors, but like analytical traders, quantitative traders. Yeah, they're in there doing their thing. They're moving the price around. They're moving up and down and doing all this, that, and the other. But if you look at from like a long-term scale of point of view of things, that you'll see even within the last 3 months, the price has doubled, right? So, but very quietly, and that's what's really funny about this time around, where it's like there wasn't a lot of media coverage, there wasn't a lot of things going on around it, and you saw some blurbs on CNBC. You got some people talking about it on Fox Business Network and these channels, but if you look at the Google search index, you can actually any search term, go to Google Trends. You can type in any search term and see the historical trends and relevance of certain topics and certain things. And it's on a scale of 1 to 100. The 100 scale is December 2017, January 2018, when everyone's freaking out, everyone's like buying in, and everyone's like jumping on the bandwagon. But now, if you look at it, the scale is like 24 or 27, something like that. So it's less than a third of the interest or search volume that was actually happening back in 2017,
right? And that's the whole thing. You see these big boys. You even have, like you said, in the mainstream, you don't really hear about it. But when you see these big boys talking, like the Elon Musks and the Jeff, Bezos,
I think Elon Musk actually tweeted about it today. And he was
joking.
That's
what I'm saying. They say
he's such a sarcastic guy. It's just like, my safe word is Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, all right, guy.
Yeah, they're putting the buzz out, so it's like, follow the money, people. I mean, hundreds of millions of thousands of dollars. I'm like, what's really going on here? So that's why I appreciate you speaking to that, Alex.
Of course.
Yeah. So Alex, what, as far as your company is concerned, what can you speak with our people in relation to what we're talking about, and how you can, help, just the average person to, maybe get into this, or just give us your thought process on it.
Right. So just for reference, so our company, we don't advise or offer any input or any comments on that, except for when it relates to taxes, right? So actually, when you buy into an asset, you buy into crypto, you buy into Bitcoin, you buy into whatever, that's great. But if you sell, that creates a taxable event, right? So whenever you sell or you trade, like let's say you buy Bitcoin and then you want to sell Bitcoin and buy Ethereum or Litecoin or whatever in these crypto assets, these crypto spaces, that creates a taxable event. Even if you're not going back into dollars, you're still selling and trading and you're profiting. And from what the IRS is concerned about, actually, is they're concerned from the basis of, okay, at the point of the trade, of the transaction, did you actually profit or loss, right? Because the IRS is actually, for this year, the very first time in the entire history of the IRS, on the Schedule 1040, which is called the individual tax return, they are putting a question on the tax return, like, have you ever bought or sold or traded crypto assets in the past or this current year? And you have to, that's under, penalty of perjury, right? So you have to, make sure that you're telling the truth on these things. And if you do buy into these assets, and you do sell back into dollars, and if you have a profit, you have to be aware of the capital gain or loss that will be associated with that, right? So, just for a very high level blurb, if you hold an asset, or if you held it for more than 12 calendar months, so more than 365 days, it becomes a long-term capital gain or loss, those are taxed at preferential tax rates. So the tax rate is about half of what it normally would be. But if you're buying and trading, you're just kind of day trading or swing trading, some people call it. If you're swing trading these assets, you will be taxed at your income tax level, right? So if it's less than 12 months, you'll be taxed. It's called a short-term capital gain or loss. But as far as people getting in and getting involved, I think the best thing to do is, I know enough to talk about it because I need to know about it from a tax perspective. That's why I understand these things. That's why I study these things. Because it's going to be very interesting moving forward on how people incorporate this into their taxes and into these types of things. But for people that want to learn more, I think the best place is YouTube. It's the best place to learn the basics of just about anything. If you want to learn how to tie your shoes or tie your tie, you go to YouTube, right?
Exactly.
How to make scrambled eggs.
YouTube is the
It's
new age encyclopedias. I'm sure you don't remember encyclopedias. That's for us old heads, Alex. We had encyclopedias.
No. I had several encyclopedias back in my day. But if you don't know something or you don't know how to do something, it's always Google, right? But now. And we didn't really talk about it too much, but it's still related to how the world is changing, how the world is moving forward. You're seeing a lot more people look at content, not from a written perspective, but from either an audio perspective or from a video perspective, right? So you're seeing a lot more people. People would prefer to watch, and even another thing is you'll see where people would prefer to watch videos muted, but with subtitles, right? And so you can kind of you can multitask, right? So you can be watching, we can be here having a conversation, and I can be watching the TV over here, and it's on subtitles, and I can see what's going on, right? I can watch, I can multitask, right? And that's actually a bit of a trend that you're starting to see in some places, in some spaces, for that. As far as our clients go, from tax perspectives and all these things, the most important thing is having your business-related information, banking transactions, all these things that happen within your business is separated, and because it makes us accountants, our lives so much easier, and our clients get brownie points when they get on the phone and say, "Yeah, I have my own business checking." I'm like, "Woohoo! 2 thumbs up," right? And because we know in our minds, at least this person knows what they're doing, they're aware of what's going on in their business. They have a separate checking account, separate savings account, whatever it is, for these things. Now, some of our clients, they don't have that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it does make the job harder if you do work with an accountant, because the accountant has to go in and parse through and figure out, maybe that trip to Ben & Jerry's was not a business expense, but it was just Sally going out for ice cream on Sunday night with her kids, right? And it's you have to kind of play that game and make those judgment calls, and it makes things a little bit more difficult. But if you're looking to work with somebody, or if you're looking to get serious about having more serious with your business, the first step is definitely to make sure that you separate your transactions out into bank accounts, separate for the business, separate for individuals, and it makes things so much easier for everybody involved. And that would be the number one piece of information. The next things to look at and to work on are the structures of the companies, the LLCs, the S corps, C corps, multi-member LLCs, partnerships, the list goes on. But those are slightly kind of starting to get into tax strategies that we talked about, and moving into that space. And it's ground zero, level 1, level 0 is separate bank accounts, and knowing that you're having those things, and knowing where you are in your business, because it's a lot easier to know that you have $1,000 in cash lying around with the business when you separate the checking accounts out and things get separated out, right? So that would be the number one thing to make sure that you have in place.
Awesome. Well, Alex, we just want to thank you so much, especially going into our after show and just sharing these golden nuggets that can help our viewing audience at this moment in time, to just level up. But we really appreciate you just taking your time out, your busy schedule. We know that you're just as busy as Allison is, and enjoy where you are. I understand. Wait a minute. Tell me where you look at
Mexico now.
We were in Merida, which is a town in the western part of Yucatan yesterday. We were there for about 9 days, and now we're in Playa del Carmen in this moment. So we're going to be here for the next week and a half, and we're spending a few nights, just the two of us, and my family's arriving on Tuesday. So we're looking forward to having Christmas together for everybody, and kind of just from there. And
enjoying that weather. Enjoying that weather.
Because in Bogota, it's about 65 degrees year round. So it's kind of like Southern California weather, but it's all year long. It's the same, so it doesn't really change too much. You vary up and down about 10 degrees either way of 65, but it's nice to go somewhere warm.
Definitely. But just to let you know, Alice, when we were on Mix 106, I was posting your information in terms of how people could get a hold of you, and I did put out there even your link for your calendar for those who would like to schedule, an appointment with you so they could see that. So I did post that out there. So I didn't get a chance to announce it on the radio at that time, but it's out there. Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic, and thank you guys so much for having me on here. I loved it. If you guys would like to have me back, please let me know. I'd love to do it again. And
definitely.
we can keep the conversation going and just go from there. But I'm happy to anybody that's listening. No question is a stupid question. So if you have questions, you have concerns, you have comments, concerns about anything, please feel free to click the link that is attached to this recording, and it will set up a time. I actually made that link special for this group for this call.
Yeah, I saw the real level up on it.
And I threw it out to 4 weeks in advance, so you can schedule, so you can get it beyond the Christmas, the turkey, the ham, whatever you eat for the holidays, and get beyond the hungoverness of January 1st, and you can get serious on January 2nd if you want. So I made sure that we had enough time on the calendar to book it out in advance, and that'll book 30 minutes. I book it 30 minutes, but it usually goes for an hour, and happy to help out anybody that's listening or anybody that needs help with anything.
Awesome. Well, everyone, we're going to bid you guys farewell for right now, but we will definitely stay in contact with us on our social media platforms, and that's on all major social media platforms, which is Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and even Twitter. We will definitely keep you guys abreast of where Level Up is going to be moving on from this point forward. I can say that the time has come that Level Up will be leveling up. So stay in contact with us. You guys will see us very, very soon in the near future on our new platform. I really appreciate everyone who has been a part of our growth and will be continuing to growing with us. So just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. You guys have a happy new year. You guys stay safe, stay level up. We love you, mean it. Take care.
The broadcast of Facebook Live has stopped.